So, everybody, welcome to an edition of Swing Time with a very, well, I like to class her as a friend. She might say otherwise, but Charlotte Austwick, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Fantastic. How are you coping with lockdown?
Not too bad. I'm fortunate enough to have a decent garden, so out in the garden most days. We've had pretty good weather, haven't we? Really, certainly have where I live.
Yeah.
So that helps massively. Like, I'm pretty sure if it was peeing it down every day, it would be a different story. But no, so far I'm okay. There's been a couple of days where can't be bothered, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And there's been a Netflix sort of binge day, but no, most days I'm just trying to do something productive. I'm doing a bit of DIY with my dad. That's
oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
So that's keeping me occupied. And then
are you quite good at DIY, Charlotte?
Actually, a video popped up on my history of this day a couple of years ago, and it's of me drilling a hole in the wall and coming out. That's awesome. Yeah.
I was going to say I could do a few bits and bobs doing, but maybe not.
No. I mean, I'm not a bad assistant. I must admit, I'm not a bad assistant. Dad keeps firm reins on that, and he'll do the bulk of the work, I think. But we renovated a chest of drawers, actually, repainted it, sort of upcycling. So that was quite good. And then currently a doll's house for my niece. We're renovating, should we say? So all the painting's being done. So yeah. Keeping busy.
Fantastic. Now, look, Charlotte, let's talk golf. That's what we're here for, of course. Now, you're a professional golfer. We first met at Crossland Heath for the 2020 Pro Tour event. But I want to know is when did you turn professional?
So I turned pro October 2015.
Okay.
I qualified through the England Women's Order of Merit to get into the LET Access Tournament at Stoke-by-Nayland. So I was top 20 on the England Order of Merit that year. I had a reasonable season. And I got into that tournament. And so there's different methods of turning pro. And one of those is if you're in a professional tournament, you can not sign the amateur disclaimer form and turn pro at that event. So that's what I made the decision to do, really. I graduated from uni 2013 summer. So I then played sort of 2 years after graduating, and played the amateur circuit and stuff like that. And friends of mine, either sort of the same era, had either turned professional, were playing or had already packed in, or they'd just stopped playing altogether because they were working and whatever else. So it was a bit of a funny time, really. So I made a decision that, I wanted to have a go at turning pro and playing professionally. So that's what I did. So played in that event, and then I went to tour school, Ladies European Tour School.
Wow. Yeah.
That's November time, and had a complete disaster.
No.
Mentally just didn't cope with it at all.
Really struggled.
Okay. So that was kind of the start. So it was it was tough. It was, I'd sort of played amateur golf and played fine, never really had any significant issues anyway, sort of mentally or physically playing. And then turned pro and just it was a bit of a disaster. But it makes for a good story.
I was gonna say it can't be that much of a disaster. You're still going strong now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, on the back of that, I picked up an ankle injury. So I played with the injury throughout 2016, played in the Access, changed coach throughout 2016, changed mentality, and actually with the new coach, I was doing better than I had. But then this ankle injury persisted, and I ended up having to have surgery in January 2017. So I then had 18 months. I had 18 months out after that. Wasn't able to compete at all. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, really. So it's kind of one of those things that, it's just not been straightforward. And I've struggled then psychologically and stuff like that. So I've done quite a lot of work with a couple of different people, just trying to get some tools in my sort of armory, really. And but I
And how are you now? How are you now? Because I know you're a very good golfer. I've obviously seen you play.
Yeah.
You're a professional, so you're obviously very good. I'm not very good at golf.
Okay.
I love golf, but
Yeah.
I'm one of those 20+ handicap choppers. And for me, it's a time issue. I don't get out enough, to be fair, as much as I'd like. But for me, I was chatting to another pro golfer the other day, and I was saying, and I'll ask you the same question, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to about the 15th, if I'm playing 8 times, when I get to about the 15th, my head starts to go to the bar, to be honest.
Yeah.
How do you stay in the zone for those final 4 or 5 holes?
I think eating and drinking enough is one thing. Like certainly for amateur golfers per se, and I'm guilty of it as well at times. Like if you don't eat and drink enough during your round, like it's obvious you're going to lose concentration. So being able to keep it going throughout that round, because typically, like if you've had a decent breakfast, lunch, whatever, and then you're going out, you can kind of, your mental state can keep going. And like you say, 15th hole is typically sort of the time for people that just go, do you know what, I've either had enough, or you just mind wanders. So I suppose part of that, and then also pre-shot routine and what you kind of, your own processes really, what you want to actually gain from it yourself, rather than necessarily on the final result of the 18 holes. It's kind of sort of breaking it down as well. I was reading something recently, and it was sort of break it into 6 3-holes in a round of golf. So kind of make those last 3 or 4 holes a challenge to yourself to better what you've just done. Try and keep the momentum and keep the focus that way, that each sort of block of 3 holes are separate to one another. So it adds up to the 18 holes at the end of the round. But actually, it's, you keep and go for something for yourself as well.
Yes. I was going to say that leads me on to a question, actually. And I find this fascinating because I'm not a professional golfer. Yeah. And when I watch it on the telly, or when I was at Crossland Heath and I was watching you guys play, let's say you're not in contention at all. You know, you're not even in contention for the prize money. Hopefully that's doesn't happen very often. But you are, say, on the 14th and you're out the game completely. Even if you go birdie, it's still not going to make much of a difference. Are you still motivated to get to continue to play as best as you can, or is it just a case of I just want to get this done and get away now?
Yeah, I mean, there's both sides, definitely. There's both sides go through your head at times. There's different circumstances as well. I suppose certain events, you're done. You just want to pack the clubs away and get out of there. And especially like when you're on the road and stuff like that, and it's not that straightforward for a lot of the tournaments that I play in. We're playing 3 days and flight home is after the 3rd day. So whether you're making the cut or not, you're stuck there for the 3rd day anyway. So what you want to do to make, whether you want that to be a productive day or whether you just need to just chill out and have a laugh with some of the other girls or whatever. So mentally, it's kind of, I think sometimes it depends where you are with your own game. Because if you're not playing well anyway, but you're working on things and you're trying to improve and you're trying to make things better, you kind of can use those last few holes to just really try and reinforce what you're doing. And so sometimes you have to just kind of play through a round and play through those back 9 holes that you really just don't want to be there, but actually you've got to have your own focus and you've got to get something out of it for yourself. Put the score, put the tournament to one side and just go, do you know what, I'm here, I may as well make the most of it. And I think that's what I've done on probably a lot of occasions over the last couple of years and stuff. But I'm there for a reason. I want to play well. It doesn't always happen, but sort of really get the most out of it yourself and just try and finish it off.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the pathway for ladies getting into golf. So when did you first play golf? That's the first question. And then what was the pathway like? Was it easy to progress through? I mean, I know you've got to have bucket loads of talent, but once it was obvious that you were very, very capable, how easy was it to get through?
So I first picked up a club when I was about 9-10 years old. There was a golf course called Coxford. I live in Tadcaster, and Coxford was literally like 5 minutes from home. So my brother actually started having lessons, and he's 4 years older than me. So we kind of went along as a family a couple of times and stuff like that. He played in like junior competition, and that's kind of my first introduction.
Yeah.
And then I had a little go, and they did junior coaching on a Sunday morning. So I went along to that, and was told that I'd probably be better than my brother. So
I bet that was fun around the dinner table, wasn't it?
So from there, it's that kind of, well, you're going to be better than your brother who's older than you, so of course you're going to be interested. But yeah, I somewhat had a bit of natural ability there anyway. I'd sort of always been relatively sporty, so yeah, about 9-10 years old, and consequently stayed up at Coxford until it actually closed down.
Okay.
A farmer owned it, and he thought he could get more out of the land than a golf course.
Okay.
So he shut it down. We did a campaign. I was on Look North with Harry Gratian.
Oh, brilliant. Harry Gratian, yes. Yeah, I know Harry. Well, I don't know him personally, but yeah.
No, yeah. I remember, well, I've got it on video somewhere of me hitting a tee shot on Look North at like 9-10 years old. But
did you hit it straight? Was it a good shot?
I did actually, yeah. I think it was all right. So yeah, we had this campaign to try and save the golf club. Didn't happen. So we ended up going over to Leeds Golf Club, and there was a couple of ladies there that were involved in the Yorkshire Ladies setup.
Right. Yeah.
And that's then how I got involved. I want to say maybe I was 13, but that's when I got involved in the Yorkshire Girls setup. And I went for a trial day. I can't remember the golf course. Willow Valley, I think it was.
Okay.
So we had this trial day, and I just remember it being freezing cold. It was a proper winter's day. And but from there I got selected, and I got into like Yorkshire girls coaching. And then I was involved. It is quite different now, I must admit. For listening to some of the other girls that have sort of come through it in more recent years, it is a very different setup to how it was when I was involved. Like money wise, I think is obviously very different. Funding and all the rest of it kind of goes into different paths and stuff. Like the whole Get Girls into Golf, that campaign, I think, has probably more taken over some of the stuff that I was involved in. But yeah, so I progressed then through county girls, played for the team and stuff like that, and then into the ladies' second team, and then finally into the Yorkshire ladies' first team. Took a little while.
Nice.
Took a little while. It was a bit political, shall we say, but I got in there.
Okay.
So
fantastic.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah,
really. It's then if you show that you've got the stuff, you can take it further, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody's different. Like there's a few girls that I played with within the county who are still playing. Some have turned pro, they've done the PGA. Some have done the PGA and are now doing other things. I didn't do the PGA. I went to uni differently. But
is there a reason you didn't do the PGA, Charlotte, or was it just that it just wasn't the right time, or you...
Academically, so I made the decision. I'm relatively bright, so my parents always said to me, we want you to do a degree, right, rather than necessarily viewing the PGA, because I wanted to get a qualification really. Before
I understand that.
Go to uni, get a degree, and then if you're still interested in your golf and you still want to pursue things, then we'll support you in doing that. So I actually went to York University and studied accounting, business finance and management. So I lived at home to do that. I couldn't afford to move away with the cost of student living and all that kind of stuff. And wanting to play golf. That was the thing. I still wanted to play golf. So if I moved away, I wouldn't have been something would have had to give. And when I was looking and applying for uni, nobody really could advise me well enough as to where else I could go. So when I actually got to uni and understood the scholarship systems and stuff like with the RNA, because they're really supportive of students that stay like in the UK and other universities that aren't in America, basically. They're really supportive, but I wasn't aware of that until I got to uni. So in hindsight, I'd maybe gone, like I'd have gone to Birmingham or Stirling or somewhere like that with a great golf program, but I didn't know any of that. Didn't know the ins and outs. So consequently, the decision was made. I'd stay at home. A student loan would help fund life. Parents weren't in the position to chuck, even more money at me to go away. So yeah, I mean, I did what I did, and I'm pleased I did what I did. And I got, like I say, I got an R&A scholarship. I got a talent athlete scholarship, and I got a sports scholarship from York University as well. So I was in quite a nice position when I was at uni. It was hard work because I had to manage everything myself. I didn't sort of go away to uni where everything's laid out for you as a student scholar and off you go. You do your studying and everything else is regimented and timely for you. I had to do all that myself. So it's made me probably a stronger person in that.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
It sounds like you came about quite well there. It was the right choice, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Charlotte, let's find out. Let's have a bit of a giggle. I want to have a bit of a light-hearted chat with you. Now, I've put a few shankers off the first tee on more than one occasion. What's been your most embarrassing moment whilst you've been playing golf, professionally as well? Not just with the mates.
Yeah. Well, I hold a record, which I'm not exactly proud of, but I'm proud of how I handled it. So
this isn't going to be like I shot the lowest round at Fulford or somewhere like that, is it?
This is down in South Africa last year. So I got through Monday qualifying for the South African Women's Open, which is Ladies European Tour event. So I've gone down, played there. So the Sunshine Tour has ladies mini series. And then one of the final events is the LET event. So you can, if you've done well enough, you can get into it qualification because it's sort of half split field. So I've qualified, Monday qualifying, did great because it was like the most rain that Cape Town's had in like 6 years or something. And we had to play in that. It was horrendous, like wet through. So we've gone out on Thursday. I've qualified and I'm playing, and it's blowing a hoolie. It was about 4 or 5 club wind. Like it was just brutal. The scores in the morning to the afternoon were horrendous as it was. I've played. And
anybody under par? Sorry, Charlotte. Anybody under par that morning?
In the morning, I think there was. The afternoon, like genuinely, the scoring was like on average 8 or 9 shots higher.
Well, okay, yeah.
It was like it was really bad stuff. So there was actually quite a lot of like conversation about it. But I with my Yorkshire grit, I was determined to get around this golf course. I was having an absolute mare, like, and I'm not one to walk off. Like, I won't walk off. It'd take a lot for me to just pack it in and walk away. So I ended up shooting 103. Like
for me, I'd be delighted with that.
Like, it was one of these moments where I didn't realise it was quite that high because I thought I'd be withdrawn. So there's things on regulations on tour events is if you shoot like plus 18 or more, you're gone. They just withdraw you. So you just disappear basically. So I had assumed like I was gone. So I just thought, well, I may as well finish the round. It was just horrendous. My head had gone, so gone. I was just laughing at myself. Anyway, I wasn't withdrawn. Right. So I was then playing the next morning. So it was quite embarrassing to have that score on the leaderboard, must admit.
Yeah.
So I
take it you were first out then.
Actually, it was you stay in your groups. So we were late out and we were early out the next day. So it was only probably like 12 hours, a bit longer, maybe less than 20 hours between coming off the golf course and going back out again. And I was staying with a host family. And she'd seen my score and she just offered me a glass of wine as I walked in the door. So that was quite nice. She's like, go get a shower and I've got tea in the oven. I was like, thank you. I'll take this in. Anyway, I went out the next morning and I shot 74.
Wow.
So 29 shot improvement in less than 24 hours. So it's kind of a bit of an embarrassing story because to hold the highest score on the Ladies European Tour isn't exactly something to shout about.
Is that's the record? Is it? That's I kind of feel bad for asking that question, but I'm pleased you took it in good spirits.
Oh yeah, well I had to think about it. I was like, well, this is the one thing that stands out. But one of our 2020 Pro Tour directors, Chris Hansen, he was texting me on the morning before I went out for the second round, and his little quote, and he sent me a picture saying, "Walk tall and proud." Like he's like, just go out there today. And do you know what? And that's exactly what I did. And I proceeded to shoot a 74, and I lost a ball on my 17th hole as well. So it could have even been it could have been subpar. It was close to being subpar that round.
Wow, that is embarrassing. That's a nice way to finish it, though, isn't it? It's I like that. It ends on a positive note. That's good. So I'm assuming then, Charlotte, that particular course doesn't hold fond memories for you, but which course does? Where's your favourite place to go play golf?
It's two. I had to think about this. Sunningdale Old Course.
Do you know what? Chris Hansen said exactly the same, as did Adam Walker. So that's 3 points for Sunningdale now. We're running a little bit of a tally on this. So, yes.
It's class. Royal Birkdale's the other one.
Okay. Yeah.
I do enjoy Royal Birkdale. I used to play it. So when we were amateurs, certain courses held 36-hole ladies amateur events. So every year you'd go back to some of the same golf courses. And Birkdale was one of them. Sunningdale was another, actually. You played one round on each course. But Birkdale, you went and played 36 holes end of August, normally it was. And it's just, loved it though.
Oh, really? Nice. Nice. I love it. I've never played it, but I'll have to give it a go. I have played Sunningdale, though. So that's good.
Yeah.
Chopped my way around, but got there in the end. Now, Charlotte, another thing that people always like to know, this is for the equipment junkies out there. What do you play? What's in your bag? Let's go from top to bottom. Start driver, go down to through.
So I'm literally, the day we sort of isolated ourselves, so after Huddersfield, the event at Huddersfield, I picked up my new club. I haven't been out on the golf course with them since, but they're in my bag. Okay. So I've just got Epic Flash driver 3-wood. Yeah. I've got Callaway Apex irons. Yeah. 4 wedge. Got Vokey wedges, Titleist Vokey wedges. And I have an Edel putter.
Edel putter?
Which is a bit of a, not very common, basically.
No, is that a blade or is it more of a mid-mallet or mallet?
No, it's a mallet, actually, yeah.
Okay.
But the company, it's an American company, but there's a few people who fit them over here, and it's basically a custom-built putter.
Brilliant. Wow.
So, they have different heads, and then you can put, depending on how you see a putt and stuff, the lines on the top of the head, they can change all that and get it custom built. So,
superb.
I've got a friend of mine who works with them, so I got.
So go back to your wedges quickly. How many wedges do you? I always find this question quite interesting because you can have some people are up to almost 5 wedges, don't they? How many wedges do you have in your
currently? I have pitch and wedge 52, 58.
Yeah.
But I've had in my old set of irons, I had a 3-iron and I've had a rescue.
A 3-iron?
Yeah, quite like a 3-iron.
Do you?
Yeah.
I couldn't hit a 3-iron, no chance. I need a hybrid or something, I think.
Yeah, well, I didn't bother getting one with this set of irons because I kind of thought I'll get one of those chunkier irons or a hybrid, not really sure.
Yeah.
Still undecided on that. But I was going to potentially go 50, 54, 58 in my wedges because I've struggled a bit, sort of get into the right distances.
Yeah.
That's something that I am wanting to work on. So the 52, 58, it just leaves a bit of a gap, really. So I do want to cut that down to sort of 50, 54, 58 to sort of give me a bit more options because I find that's obviously scoring end of the game, that kind of thing. 3-iron rescue. I don't need both in my bag, in all honesty. I don't play enough links. I have the option to swap in and swap out, but I think the wedges end is a bit more important, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Your short game is sort of key, isn't it? They say, what is it, drive for dough and putt for show, but that doesn't that kind of misses out the middle bit, doesn't it? Really, which is that's not quite fair. So, like you say, you haven't been able to get the clubs out on the course at the minute. But what are you doing at home at the minute? Are you going through some drills that you're doing at home and obviously relaxing?
I'm doing a bit of swing changing actually. My dad put a load of old dust sheets up and created a net for me in between our two apple trees. So I've worn the grass down a little bit, but these things happen. I can do a bit of chipping. It's sort of long enough to do a little bit of chipping, 10 yards. So I've got some little nets and stuff that we've had for years in the shed. And then I've got a putting green inside as well, about 8 foot long, Huxley. So I've had that years. So yeah, I'm able to keep everything ticking over. And then home gym stuff as well. Got some bands, a medicine ball, stuff like that. So I'm able to kind of keep going.
That kind of brings us on to the next question. Actually, I won't keep you too much longer. I appreciate you probably got quite a lot to do. But when you're not focused on golf, I think we might have touched a little bit on this earlier. But how do you relax when you're not golfing? We mentioned DIY, but you mentioned you're a better assistant at DIY. What do you do? Charlotte, aside from golf, what is it you enjoy doing? Let's find out about you.
No, I've got.
If it's just golf, great. There's no problem with that.
Yeah, no, I've got a young niece and nephew. So when I get the chance to, love playing with them, like going to the park, playing rounders, playing cricket, stuff like that. I do bar work and I actually quite enjoy it. I do bar work at York Racecourse. Not relaxing, must admit, but it's quite a sociable thing to do. So when I am home and the shift's going and stuff like that, I do pick up some shifts because I don't go out personally very often. Obviously, timing and stuff like that, it just doesn't happen that often. But working on a bar, it's sociable, but I'm working, so I'm earning a bit of money. So chilling out.
You probably know my brother-in-law goes up to York races quite a lot. You've probably served him. I'm a Harrogate boy originally, so I know the area reasonably well. And he likes York races quite a bit. Are you a fan of the horses, or is it just?
I'm not a massive fan, must admit. But it's convenient. Like it's a convenient job to have. 0 hours, so Christmas parties. So I didn't really go out myself over Christmas. I worked every Friday and Saturday night from the beginning of November through till December. But I had a good time.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a nice little money spinner as well, especially around Christmas time.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Now, look, Charlotte, just before we do wrap this up, is there anybody you want to give a bit of a shout out to? Any sort of sponsors or any family members or any friends or anybody who you just want to say who supported you through your career? You just want to give a bit of a thumbs up to?
My mum and dad. Thank of mum and dad. The support they give me. Don't actually have any sponsors. Factory outlet down at Castleford. That's probably my clothing sponsor. That one. My clothing sponsor. Nice outlet. Pick up some bargains from there.
So if there's any sponsors watching, Charlotte, shout. I've got a close sort of family network really. They're supportive. I've got some good friends. Adam Walker's one of them. Definitely has been a friend of mine for a lot of years. And Aaron is best mate. So they're always they're well grounded as well, you know. Even if they'll bring me back down to earth pretty quickly. Nice. As good friends do, of course.
And you know, I've got a good group of girlfriends on the tour as well. So
fantastic. So if anybody does want to find out more about your career, or they want to get in touch, find out about golf, getting into golf, especially ladies golf, how do they go about getting in contact with you, Charlotte? Do you have a website, or is social media the best place?
I've got a website with a contact page on there, and then also my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Got all those set up as well, so I can give you the links.
Yes, we'll do. We'll post those in as well. So Charlotte, look, thank you so much for your time today. I'll let you get back to putting up shelves and doll's house, drilling walls and stuff. Thank you so much for your time, Charlotte, and take care. I'll see you on the course very soon.
Yes, you will.